Confederate cavalry. Mechanics. Their magic wrenches tune stock passenger automobiles for 500-mile runs at speeds up to 120 miles an hour. Drivers, the greatest stock car pilots in America, whipping a wheel around the high-banked asphalt track at Darlington, South Carolina. All this and much more as the starry bars unfurl in southern skies, a symbol of the greatest stock car racing. Race day, long before qualifications, the fastest cars ever to leave Detroit assembly lines are shaking down, ready to meet the challenge of a 500-mile run. This is a once-a-year classic, the World Series of stock car auto racing. This race and others like it have become the nation's greatest testing ground of automobiles and accessories. And 13 makes of cars are ready to meet the challenge of a 1 3/8 track, the fastest stock car racing arena in the world. After practice comes the first test, qualification. Number 3 and number 92 wait at the starting line. Both cars prepared by a rookie who drove sensationally in high-speed experimental tests run at this track earlier in the year. These qualifying runs are important. They determine position in the starting lineup for the race. Fastest man starts at the front of the field, and Goldsmith wants a top spot. He eases his Chevrolet to the first turn, coming up to racing speed. He's ready and on his run. Goldsmith's first lap sets a new record, better than 115 miles an hour. Into the long backstretch, Goldsmith is pouring it on. And after 4 record-breaking laps, comes up to the checkered flag with a new track record. Goldsmith qualifies at an average speed of 116 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour better than last year's record. The man to beat, Reed Thomas, ready to qualify a new Chevrolet. This car carries the same number that Thomas has made famous in stock car racing competition across the nation. He's up to speed, and the quiet Carolina countryside echoes to the mighty roar of his engine. Thomas qualifies. He roars toward the checkered flag at the end of a 4-lap run at 115 miles an hour. Aboard to the line with Marvin Panch at the wheel, his hood painted with the sign 260 horsepower. And Panch can handle that power. His practice runs have been fast. Panch takes the green flag and begins to travel. And records only an hour old are smashed beneath the driving wheels of number 8. Panch meets the checkered flag at an average speed just short of 117 miles an hour. The sound of record-shattering runs bring mechanics and crewmen to the pit wall as Speedy Thompson rolls out in a Chrysler 300B. Speedy's first lap is 119.2 miles an hour. His 4-lap average an amazing 118. A tribute to high-performance engine. 7 years ago, top qualifying speed was a mere 82 miles an hour. This sums up the challenge to mechanics of cars not yet qualified. Although these cars are strictly stock, there's a lot of work between showroom and speed trials. No one knows better than Tim Flock, twice NASCAR national champion, and his brother, mechanic Bob Flock. Tim drives this Ford. How fast will it run? Only 3 more days of qualification to find out. Within those 3 days, this chassis will be ready to race. Skilled mechanics will drop in an engine, tune it, send it out for practice, and tear it down again in a never-ending search for speed, endurance, and dependability. Parts, accessories, fuels, lubricants, all must withstand the test of competition here in the toughest contest in the automotive world. These mechanics literally eat and sleep with their machine. The amazing qualification speeds of these stock passenger automobiles is the talk of the pit area. The automotive skill and know-how of the mechanics plays a big part in the outstanding performance of the cars. Smoky Unick owns and handles the wrenches on 2 cars being driven by top contenders and is a 4-time winner of the coveted Winning Mechanic Award. This award, presented by the makers of Wynn's friction-proofing products, honors top racing mechanics in more than 20 fields of racing each year. Smoky Unick's 2 drivers are 3-time Darlington winner Herb Thomas and front-running rookie Paul Goldsmith. As Goldsmith lends a helping hand, Unick goes to work on the differential. Unick won't take a chance on rear-end failure. This machine will travel 500 miles in 5 hours, and lubricants must stand up to heat, dirt, and high-speed friction mile after mile. Nowhere is performance more important to racing drivers and mechanics than in the finely tuned engines. Speed, power, and endurance for 500 miles. These are the yardsticks against which every product used on American racing tracks is measured. All the drivers and mechanics competing here spend weeks bringing their cars to the peak of performance. As soon as a malfunction is noticed, a mechanic goes to work putting the car in top shape. Performance protection is the aim of every crew, and nothing goes into these cars unless it has been proven time and time again on the toughest automotive proving ground, the stock car racing tracks. As soon as mechanic and driver are satisfied they can really go, they go. Buck Baker, teammate of Speedy Thompson, eases his Chrysler 300B into a qualifying run, climbing the high bank at better than 117 miles an hour. And there goes yesterday's record. 1 lap complete at 120 miles an hour, and a full run at an average of 119.6 miles an hour, almost 8 miles faster than last year's record. As Baker roars across the finish line, the starter's signal goes to Tim Flock, last year's record setter. Flock moves his Ford smoothly in his run. Back in the pits, Buck Baker and his crew are jubilant with the new record. Tim Flock qualifies at 116 miles an hour, 4 miles better than last year, yet incredible as it seems, almost 4 miles slower than the new record. Behind the scenes, inspectors check every car making a qualification attempt. These cars are certified stock within the rules set down by the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. When the race is over, the first 5 finishers are rechecked against stock specifications. After qualification, the cars are impounded, and 24-hour-a-day guards make sure that there is no tampering with qualified cars. The parade of speed runs continue. Late qualifier Curtis Turner averages 118 1/2 miles an hour. His car is one of 20 that cracked Tim Flock's record of a year ago. When qualifications end and the dust settles, 70 cars are impounded, the fastest field ever to compete in a stock car contest. There is a different kind of contest, though, the night before the race. Specifications here are just as important as in race cars, and everything is strictly stock, especially the chassis. Tim Flock, who has never had any trouble seeing on the track, seems to be suffering from eye strain. Here on the main straightaway, these girls are competing for the title Miss Southern 500 and the privilege of ruling as queen of the race. The competition is terrific. Fonty Flock, another judge, just can't make up his mind. These contestants are all South Carolina girls who... Fonty spots a winner. It's 19-year-old Robin Williamson. As the scene is recorded for history by the Bell and Howells, Queen Williamson receives her crown from last year's title holder. Meet the queen of the race, Miss Southern 500. Race morning, and the country roads for miles around are jammed with fans who camped out to get an early start. The parking lots are packed by sunup, and the main grandstand is filled with spectators who bought tickets months ago. The raw earth alongside the back straightaway was tossed there as a new grandstand seating 15,000 was built and sold out. The last chance for a good seat is in the infield, where you bring the fixings and build them as you need them. Neighbor, lend a hand and we'll both see the race. The crowd is enormous, and the National Championship High School Band of Georgetown, South Carolina, makes them welcome in true Southern style. They all look right at home. This band has won 2 national titles in the past year for its sparkling performance. But as 70,000 fans look on, they make way for the main show as the cars are signaled out of their pits to the starting line. Joe Weatherly, racing for Pete DePaulo, former Indianapolis winner. Weatherly's teammate, Curtis Turner, has led in every Southern 500 but never at the finish. Fireball Roberts, a spectacular blowout, stopped him last year. Buck Baker, fastest in the field. Ponty Flock, winner in 1952, anxious to roll. He ran 1 qualifying lap at 120 miles an hour. They're ready now. Next to the official Purelator car is Speedy Thompson, number 57. Panch is in number 8, and Bill Amick in 97 on the outside. All cars are started and begin the pace lap, which gives the drivers a chance to line up in proper position before coming down past the starting line at better than 90 miles an hour. They're moving smoothly past the main grandstand into the first turn, a mighty parade of power. These high-performance machines are ready for anything. The dust and dirt kicked up by each car, the high bank turns which put a premium on car control, the long straightaways where drivers demand full power. Because of the large starting field, half the pit areas have been placed along the backstretch facing the new grandstands. The first time this plan has been used on an American racetrack. The third turn, ready now for 500 miles of performance. A year's performance packed into one afternoon. They're running for the largest purse ever offered in stock car racing competition. Here they come. The race is on. The front runners roar away, leaving a dust and bit-filled tornado as they head for the first turn. Engine number 8 jams his Ford into the lead. Thompson's Chrysler is a close second. Goldsmith's Chevrolet is third. Down the backstretch, Panch shows the field his tailpipe. He roars into the front stretch, carrying a new record for the first lap of 115 miles an hour. And other cars spring out. Thompson is challenging. And the big Chrysler passes to take the lead. Thompson is traveling 20 miles an hour faster than the track record for the full 500 miles. The leaders begin to overtake the stragglers. Thompson leading away past slower cars like an express train. But Panch hangs on. He's catching him. As Goldsmith pulls onto third, Panch roars down the backstretch to grab the lead. Number 86, Tim Flock, has moved through the field to challenge Amick for 4th place. Thompson in 57 gets next to the rail and throws coal on the fire. He passes and is back in 1st place. There's a car in trouble. Arden Mount slows down and moves away from the guardrail, away from the high bank to give faster cars the right of way. Most drivers travel inches away from the outside guardrail. It's a long way around, but it's fastest. Arden Mounts heads for the pits, out of the race. Engine number 8 has taken back the lead, roaring through the first 10 laps, 114.9 miles an hour. Thompson won't go along. He eases off the pace, saving his car for the full 500-mile run. But Tim Clark in number 86 wants to run in front, moving through the field like a veteran at 115 miles an hour, and hounding rookie Goldsmith for third place. But Goldsmith in number 3 can run like a rabbit when he has to. Tim Clark has trouble of his own as Curtis Turner, third fastest qualifier, whips number 99 into 5th position. Joe Weatherly finds himself traveling 70 miles an hour backwards before he scrapes to a stop against the retaining wall. His number 9 is teammate to Turner's 99. Weatherly's a sitting duck out there as 100-mile-an-hour traffic bears down, but his fellow drivers manage to get around him. Weatherly finds a break in traffic and heads for the pits and a new tire. He's not through racing. Curtis Turner takes 99 high into the groove, passing Clark to take 4th. Herb Thomas drives a steady, relentless race. Smokey Unick puts the stopwatch on him. Herb and Smokey run a waiting race, running against the clock, not against the front runners. Trouble on the backstretch. Jack Smith sets a new speed record for traveling sideways. A 300-foot slide ends a few feet from the guardrail, but he's heading right back. The yellow caution signal momentarily slows the pace, and Tim Clark heads for his pit and a precautionary tire change. Time spent in the pits is counted against each driver, and with traffic moving past at 110 miles an hour, your pit crew has to be fast. Thomas makes his first scheduled pit stop. His super service station moves into action. Three-time Indianapolis winner handles the windshield cleaning chores. The film of dust and grit can be cut with a knife. In seconds, Herb Thomas is on his way, picking up speed as the green flag sends the field into high speed. Leading the pack is number 8, Marvin Panch at the wheel. Coming out of the second turn, Curtis Turner passes Goldsmith to take 2nd place. Turner in a Ford is really traveling, but Panch passes them where he finds them, piling up prize money as he holds 1st place. Herb Thomas meets the guardrail head-on, then spins twice after he's struck from the rear by another car. Thomas keeps the car under control and eases his battered machine toward the pits as the yellow flag slows the field. But Fireball Roberts in number 22 hasn't seen the signal to slow down. He barrels through the turn and plows into number 98. Danny Lettner punches through the steel guardrail, but he's not injured. Fireball Roberts, number 22, is disabled and limps into the infield. Once they hook up the tow truck, there isn't much chance for any more racing. But Thomas has brought number 92 to the pits under his own power, and his crew goes to work. Thomas wants to run again. Smokey Unick is a fighting mechanic who isn't going to throw away all that pre-race effort without a fight. In a matter of minutes, a new radiator is fitted to the battered machine. But those minutes are precious. Roaring past the pits, Curtis Turner rips off laps at 110 miles an hour. Thomas is racing again. It may not look pretty, but it can run and run fast. To Thomas and his mechanic, it's the most wonderful sight in the world. Panch still sets the pace. Turner in number 99 is only 51 seconds behind. There's a mix-up in the second turn. Whoops, pardon me. No damage. Now all he needs is tailwind. Panch is slowing down. He's heading into his pit on the backstretch. Each leading lap is worth extra prize money for Panch, but high-speed running has worn his tires. Set to work on the double, a purple and white blur streaks out of the turn into the backstretch. Curtis Turner is blasting by the stragglers to take 1st place. The seconds tick away for Panch. Number 26, a Mercury with Jim Pascal at the controls, takes over second behind Turner. Billy Myers and another Mercury sends number 14 roaring into third place. At last, Panch gets away. His pit stop drops into fourth place. Pascal firmly settled in second place. Billy Myers, his teammate, close behind in third. 250 miles and no let-up. Pascal, Myers, and Turner trade the lead at a furious pace. Records are smashed at every distance, and still lap speeds climb higher, higher. A cloud of dust, 30 feet of missing guardrail. One car unaccounted for, another crippled. Then the gas tank, torn loose from the disabled car by the shock of collision, is crushed by another car and ignites. Driver hurtling into the corner. The missing car is Bill Brown's. It pitched over a 26-foot embankment and lies wrecked, although the driver is all right. But Larry Flynn is still in his car. A trail of gasoline is splashed across the asphalt toward his wreck. A column of smoke warns all other cars on the track, and skillful driving lessens the danger of a pileup. There's Flynn. He's out of danger. The pace car keeps the field at half speed as the fire is brought under control and the track clear. As the green flag signals for high speed, Curtis Turner rolls into his pit for fuel and fresh tires. His crew worked with trained precision, hoping to roll Turner out before second place number 26 moves into the lead. On the other side of the track, number 26 with Pascal at the wheel also pits. The fight for the lead and perhaps the race may be decided now in the pits by the competing crews. Is Turner in trouble? The hood is up on number 99. Turner has led every Southern 500 race, but mechanical trouble kept him from finishing at the top. Pascal's crew is working fast, and Pascal is itching to let it run. Turner's hood is down, and he rolls out, back on the track and back in the lead. Pascal's crew sent him on his way. His stop cost him 3 positions, but with a full gas tank and fresh tires, he's still a challenge to front-running Turner. Billy Myers now is in second place, but he's still half a lap behind Turner. Thompson in 57 is third. Panch in number 8, right behind him. Pascal is charging, making up for lost time. Win Staley nudges the guardrail and stops broadside in the groove, that invisible lane that most drivers find the fastest and smoothest way around, the lane that draws the 100-mile-an-hour traffic. Traffic slips by. Many of the cars forced to dent the guardrail, avoiding a collision. Billy Myers gives up second place in order to make a pit stop, and the same crew that serviced Pascal now turns to his teammate. The third member of the Mercury stable, Fonte Flock, winner in 1952, led puts it down the backstretch, one of racing's toughest competitors. But Turner is tougher, passing Speedy Thompson in number 57. He has a full lap lead on second place. Thompson's teammate, Buck Baker, has run out of luck. The fastest qualification speed doesn't mean a thing when too many pit stops slow you down. Turner is mopping up the field, picking up some help from his teammate, Joe Weatherly, in number 9. Herb Thomas is still running and running well. A real tribute to driver, mechanic, and equipment. Time lost in pit stops is hard to make back. And Smokey Unick's hopes lie now with Paul Goldsmith, running like a veteran in 5th position. A spin. And a recovery. Ross Howard finds out the hard way how it feels to be on ice. Speedy Thompson pits for tires. Thompson has driven beautifully, pacing himself through the afternoon, saving himself and his car. He's holding his Chrysler in second place, even though Marvin Panch in a Ford is trying to move up from third. Thompson is ready to race again, picking up speed slowly, watching for Turner, who continues to set the pace and set new records as he goes. Turner has better than a lap lead on the next three places: Thompson, Panch, and Goldsmith. But Turner keeps his throttle wide open. He's determined to win going away. Old 99 comes up on Goldsmith, laps the field again, and still refuses to slow down. Lap by lap, Turner opens up his leads, smashing all existing stock car records for the distance. He's giving the fans something to remember. One of the greatest runs for the checkered flag ever seen. Even winners, Monty Flock in car 15, can't do more than keep up with Turner. There's the white flag pointing at Turner, and old 99 roars down the straightaway to begin the last lap. The main straightaway is on its feet as Turner lead-foots it through the third turn. Curtis Turner wins his first Southern 500 going away. The last time around, Turner takes one lap for insurance before rolling toward the winner's circle. Turner is a wealthy Virginia lumberman who races for the sport of racing, the solid satisfaction of rewriting the record books. His new record for 500 miles is better than 95 miles an hour. 5 makes of automobiles were represented in the first 10 finishes, a tribute to performance of all automotive products tested here. And Wynn's friction-proofing products is proud of the part it played in helping Curtis Turner win this greatest of all stock car racing. For Curtis, like many NASCAR drivers, depends on Wynn's to protect the finely machined parts of his engine. Years of outstanding performance have proven Wynn's best on the racetrack and on the highway. To protect your engine, insist on Wynn's friction-proofing products, race-proved best for every make of car.
Gone, but not forgotten, as once again a great sound thrills the air. Dixie. But the distant sound of Dixie is mixed with a roar of engines. At Darlington, South Carolina, they've cleared a cotton field. And look out on Labor Day. Stock cars in America move to the starting line for the Southern 500, the biggest race of the year for stock passenger automobiles. 61 cars are ready to battle for the largest purse ever offered in stock car auto racing. 70,000 fans from 48 states fill the grandstand and pack the infield for what promises to be the fastest 500 miles ever run by stock cars. Flag of the Confederacy flies again, but only as a symbol of the biggest jubilee south of the Mason-Dixon line. The fun started a week ago when Darlington, a quiet town of 6,000, hung out the welcome sign. From far and near, the fans began to gather. Old times were gone, but not forgotten. This would be Carolina's biggest carnival. The Old South and some of the New South, ready for a big parade. But as Darlington told the world, y'all come. Out at the track, the word was go, go, go. Paul Goldsmith, the number 3, is ready for a qualification run that will earn him a starting position. Average speeds in practice have topped 116 miles an hour, 125 miles an hour on the straightaways. The pit area swarms with mechanics getting their entries ready to run. Goldsmith, a red-hot rookie in last year's race, eases his number 3 Ford into a warm-up lap before taking the green flag. Goldsmith's car is tuned by Smokey Unick, part mechanic, part magician. Unick has turned the wrenches on 3 winners in past 500s. Also watching from the pit wall is the man who drove for Unick in those 3 memorable wins, Herb Thomas. Thomas is known as a shrewd and steady driver. How fast, he wonders, do the new men go? Goldsmith roars out of the practice lap to take the green flag. He's fast, smooth, and heading for the checkered flag in near record time. 119 miles an hour. Man, that boy can really travel. Herb Thomas's best speed in his best years was 5 miles an hour slower. His trigger-quick responses and the mechanical perfection of Unick's cars gave Thomas the edge in past years. Now, can he still run with the hard-charging younger men? Men like Curtis Turner, whose car is also prepared by Smokey Unick. Turner won this race last year, setting a new record for 500 miles. The team of Unick, Turner, and Goldsmith is the team to beat, and 59 cars are here to try to do it. But first, all cars must be inspected by officials of NASCAR, National Association for Stock Cars. Every engine is taken apart by inspectors, and after approval, engines and running gear are sealed to prevent tampering. Any modification must be done within the rules set down by the association. Racing mechanics depend on the finest fuels, lubricants, and accessories for these highly tuned machines. The proof of these products is in performance, and only the best are approved by NASCAR. The only thing you can't measure is the bravery of the drivers. Fireball Roberts, flat-footed through a corner, 116 miles an hour. Speedy Thompson, second-place finisher last year, average 118 miles an hour. Curtis Turner, last year's winner in Unick's new car, 117 miles an hour. The boys are really in a mood to go, go, go. Here's the only thing that slows down the racing crowd. Contestants in the Miss Southern 500 Beauty Contest. These girls even stagger the master of ceremonies. The judges are having a hard time choosing among the 51 beauties. No wonder. There are 62 beauty queen titles among these lovely South Carolina ladies. There's the winner, Miss Martha Brannon of Bishopville, South Carolina. Miss Southern 500, and only 19 years old. As the queen of the race accepts her title, the crowds which jam the roads leading to Darlington grow. The gates of the track infield are opened, and fans begin an all-night wait. Music, movies, and free Harmony grits for breakfast when the sun comes up. Y'all come. Race morning, and still the fans are coming. Some of them have camped out in their cars since sunup, waiting for their turn through the tunnel under the backstretch and onto the 60-acre infield. There's a field that overnight sprouts cars instead of cotton. Say, man, it's morning. Morning, that is. On the front stretch, the Winyah High School Band, the national champions for the past 3 years, swings out with a Southern welcome. The cars are moving to the starting line. At the pole position, inside front row, Cotton Owens in a Pontiac. His qualification speed, 117 1/2 miles an hour. Next to him is Bobby Meyer's Oldsmobile, 117 miles an hour. On the outside, Curtis Turner in a Ford. Turner is last year's winner. Goldsmith is right behind Turner in the second row. They're ready and waiting. The pace lap begins. All cars will go once around the 1 3/8 track in parade formation. Then come past the starting line at better than 110 miles an hour. This race is a once-a-year classic, the World Series of stock car auto racing. They're moving into the first turn of this high-banked asphalt track, one of the most modern in the nation. Stock car racing has changed the American automobile almost beyond recognition in the past few years. In 1950, top qualifying speed for this race was only 82 miles an hour, set by Curtis Turner. Now, 6 years later, they are 35 miles an hour faster. And testing on the track has added ruggedness, safety, and handling ability to the American stock passenger automobile. Out of the second turn, into the backstretch, and picking up speed as they go. Because of the number of cars entered, half the pits are placed along the backstretch. The fans in the backstretch grandstands are on their feet. The tricky third turn, and wheeling toward the start. This race, and others like it, have become the nation's greatest testing ground for automobiles, lubricants, and accessories. 500 miles of performance lie ahead. A year's wear and tear on parts and accessories packed into a single afternoon. Into the fourth turn and heading for the front stretch. Here they come. The green flag. They're off. Owens grabs the lead. Turner and Myers battle for second. Down the backstretch at 110 miles an hour. Dirt and dust obscure vision and threaten to choke engines. The third turn. The leader in trouble. Owens slides and recovers at 115 miles an hour. On the fourth turn, Curtis Turner holds on to second place. Myers is third, Paul Goldsmith right behind him. End of lap one, and look at them go! Owens trying to move away from Turner, Myers, and Goldsmith as they turn corners at 116 miles an hour. Goldsmith in fourth position closes in behind Myers. There's only one fast and safe way through the fourth turn. Stay in line. Here comes Owens. And Goldsmith moves, blasting his way to third place. On the backstretch, Curtis Turner hauls up on Owens as the leaders catch up to the tail of the field. Here's Turner's challenge. Owens holds him off. But Smokey Yunick waits for them to come around again. On the fourth turn, Curtis Turner gets next to the rail, pours on the coal, and grabs the lead. Goldsmith, his teammate, lead-foots it after him. Turner in the lead. And Goldsmith second. That's okay for Smokey Yunick. Herb Thomas's car in the pits. But Herb isn't behind the wheel. In a last-minute switch, Fondy Flock, the old pro of auto racing, is driving. That car isn't handling right for Fondy. He's forced to change a wheel after less than 20 miles of high-speed running. Turner is in command, with Goldsmith tearing up the record books right behind him. Fondy Flock in Thomas's car spins out at the end of the backstretch. He's broadside to the oncoming traffic, bearing down on him at 115 miles an hour. The leaders are coming around at top speed. Look out! Bobby Myers and Paul Goldsmith slam into the stalled car. The cars are thrown 200 feet by the impact. Myers' car flips 3 times. The field is slowed as the 3 injured drivers are removed from the wrecks. Paul Goldsmith is on his feet, stunned but able to walk. Let's hear how the wreck looked to him.
Coming down the back stretch, I was following Billy, probably about 1 car length behind him, and his windshield was a little bit fogged up, and I couldn't see through the car to see ahead. And when I moved towards the outside rail, then I could see past the right side of his car, and I thought I seen a car on the groove. Just about that time, why, Billy's car just disappeared. I didn't even see where it went. It just like an explosion, and there was no time to avoid hitting it. Because when I hit it, why, the back end come up over, and then I went up in the air. I don't know how high, but I came down, and then it rolled over on the top, and rolled over once, and back onto its wheels.
On the front stretch, the cars are lined up for a restart after the track is cleared. A parade lap begins. Before the red flag stopped the race, Owens in number 6 took back the lead from Curtis Turner's number 31. Smokey Yunick waits in his pit for the parade lap to end. They're ready to run again. As the green flag drops, Owens heads for the pit. Turner is forced out of position, and Lee Petty in number 42 gets in the groove next to the rail. Lee Petty's Oldsmobile roars to the lead. Speedy Thompson Chevrolet slips into second on the outside. Petty in number 42, full throttle. Thompson in number 46 is closing in. Where's Turner? Turner, like Owens, has given his car a pounding ride in the battle for first place. The average speed for the first 25 laps has been 112 miles an hour. In less than a minute, a wheel is changed and the gas tank is filled. Then Smokey sends him on his way. Goldsmith's wrecked car is out of the race, and this puts it squarely up to Turner. He roars back into fifth position. Car number 22, Fireball Roberts, begins to move. In 40 laps, Roberts has moved from 17th position to challenge the leaders. He roars past his pit in second place. A lead foot, a wise head, and a fast car. Turner makes up for lost time. Roberts closes in on Lee Petty in first place. Roberts runs into trouble. A car out of control, and Roberts smashes into him. Fireball keeps control of his car and limps to the pits. But this car is in no shape to race. Fireball Roberts is out of the running after a beautiful battle for first place. Curtis Turner is now second, moving up fast on Lee Petty. In third place, Speedy Thompson in number 46 is running into trouble. Jack Smith in number 47 is waiting and hoping. The field is slowed by the yellow caution flag, and there's barely enough room above and below him for other cars. Thompson, battered but still running, heads for his pit and a mechanical check. Thompson has paced himself for 100 laps, running among the first 5 since the race was restarted. He's back in the race in third place, behind Petty and Turner, who are in a furious battle for the lead. Look out! There's only room for one fast car in the third turn. Turner is in real trouble. In Turner's first brush with the wall, his fender was crushed, and as he roared through the turn at 110 miles an hour, jagged metal ripped through his right rear tire. It looks like Turner is out of the race. The head-on collision with the guardrail smashed the radiator and smashed Smokey Unick's last hope for victory. Turner walks away. Unick makes his decision. He'll make it run again. Impatient now, itching to take the wheel. In 10 minutes, Unick does a day's work. 15 laps behind the leaders, Turner is going to show the fans how a champion runs. It's been a tough day for the man who brought 2 sure winners to Darlington. Lee Petty, in number 42, still running wide open, setting a pace that means trouble to slower drivers. Uh-oh! Brownie King is trapped in the wreck. The yellow flag warns all drivers. But but he's getting out. He's all right. With a clear track, Lee Petty opens the throttle. Speedy Thompson is half a lap behind. Thompson is cutting Petty's lead, and number 42 answers by turning laps at 109 miles an hour. Petty's right front wheel collapses as he roars into the corner. Speedy Thompson in number 46 Chevrolet takes the lead, and a tow truck takes Petty's car. Lee Petty takes a long walk home. But Curtis Turner, bent and battered, keeps pounding out the laps. With only a few laps to go, Thompson is setting records of his own. He edges his Chevrolet over the 97-mile-an-hour average, including slow laps run under the caution flag. Bud Moore, Thompson's mechanic, watches as Thompson pounds out the miles. Only 20 cars are still running. The white flag. Speedy Thompson begins his last lap, the longest lap in the race for his mechanic and pit crew. Moving down the backstretch for the last time, his average speed now 100 miles an hour for 500 miles. The checkered flag. Speedy Thompson in number 46 Chevrolet sets a new record in winning the Southern 500. Cotton Owens, pole position winner, takes second place, 3 laps behind Speedy. Here's the man and the car that ran 500 miles in only 5 hours. The toughest 500 miles in American stock car history. Mechanic Bud Moore shares the victory with Speedy Thompson. Moore is a veteran mechanic in stock car auto racing and has this to say about winning performance.
We knew that we needed all the power and the performance we could get on here at Darlington. We knew, too, that we'd have to do it for 500 miles. Now, it can really work a car. We depended on Wien's friction proofing in the engine to protect the car. Yeah, it's really done the job for us. Yeah, it's been terrific.
Wien's friction-proofing products have been proven in racing competition, proven in use in the winning cars. For winning performance on the speedway or on the highway, it's Wien's friction-proofing, the can with the red and black bullseye trademark. The proof is in the performance.
Confederate cavalry. Mechanics. Their magic wrenches tune stock passenger automobiles for 500-mile runs at speeds up to 120 miles an hour. Drivers, the greatest stock car pilots in America, whipping a wheel around the high-banked asphalt track at Darlington, South Carolina. All this and much more as the stars and bars unfurl in southern skies, a symbol of the greatest stock car racing. Long before qualifications, the fastest cars ever to leave Detroit assembly lines are shaking down, ready to meet the challenge of a 500-mile run. This is a once-a-year classic, the World Series of stock car auto racing. This race and others like it have become the nation's greatest testing ground of automobiles and accessories. And 13 makes of cars are ready to meet the challenge of a 1 3/8 track, the fastest stock car racing arena in the world. After practice comes the first test. Qualification. Number 3 and number 92 wait at the starting line. Both cars prepared now. A rookie who drove sensationally in high-speed experimental tests run at this track earlier in the year. These qualifying runs are important. They determine position in the starting lineup for the race. Fastest man starts at the front of the field, and Goldsmith wants a top spot. He eases his Chevrolet to the first turn, coming up to racing speed. He's ready and on his run. Goldsmith's first lap sets a new record, better than 115 miles an hour. Into the long backstretch, Goldsmith is pouring it on. And after 4 record-breaking laps, comes up to the checkered flag with a new track record. Goldsmith qualifies at an average speed of 116 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour better than last year's record. The man to beat, Threep Thomas, ready to qualify a new Chevrolet. This car carries the same number that Thomas has made famous in stock car racing competition across the nation. He's up to speed, and the quiet Carolina countryside echoes to the mighty roar of his engine. Thomas qualifies. He roars toward the checkered flag at the end of a 4-lap run at 115 miles an hour. A Ford to the line with Marvin Panch at the wheel. His hood painted with the sign 260 horsepower. And Panch can handle that power. His practice runs have been fast. Panch takes the green flag and begins to travel. And records only an hour old are smashed beneath the driving wheels of number 8. Panch meets the checkered flag at an average speed just short of 117 miles an hour. The sound of record-shattering runs bring mechanics and crewmen to the pit wall as Speedy Thompson rolls out in a Chrysler 300B. Speedy's first lap is 119.2 miles an hour. His 4-lap average an amazing 118. A tribute to high-performance engine. 7 years ago, top qualifying speed was a mere 82 miles an hour. This sums up the challenge to mechanics of cars not yet qualified. Although these cars are strictly stock, there's a lot of work between showroom and speed trials. No one knows better than Tim Flock, twice NASCAR national champion, and his brother, mechanic Bob Flock. Tim drives this Ford. How fast will it run? Only 3 more days of qualification to find out. Within those 3 days, this chassis will be ready to race. Skilled mechanics will drop in an engine, tune it, send it out for practice, and tear it down again in a never-ending search for speed, endurance, and dependability. Parts, accessories, fuels, lubricants, all must withstand the test of competition here in the toughest contest in the automotive world. These mechanics literally eat and sleep with their machines. The amazing qualification speeds of these stock passenger automobiles is the talk of the pit area. The automotive skill and know-how of the mechanics plays a big part in the outstanding performance of the cars. Smokey Unick owns and handles the wrenches on 2 cars being driven by top contenders and is a 4-time winner of the coveted Winning Mechanic Award. This award, presented by the makers of Wynn's friction-proofing products, honors top racing mechanics in more than 20 fields of racing each year. Smokey Unick's 2 drivers are 3-time Darlington winner Herb Thomas and front-running rookie Paul Goldsmith. As Goldsmith lends a helping hand, Unick goes to work on the differential. Unick won't take a chance on rear-end failure. This machine will travel 500 miles in 5 hours, and lubricants must stand up to heat, dirt, and high-speed friction mile after mile. Nowhere is performance more important to racing drivers and mechanics than in the finely tuned engines. Speed, power, and endurance for 500 miles. These are the yardsticks against which every product used on American racing tracks is measured. All the drivers and mechanics competing here spend weeks bringing their cars to the peak of performance. As soon as a malfunction is noticed, a mechanic goes to work putting the car in top shape. Performance protection is the aim of every crew, and nothing goes into these cars unless it has been proven time and time again on the toughest automotive proving ground, the stock car racing tracks. As soon as mechanic and driver are satisfied they can really go, they go. Buck Baker, teammate of Speedy Thompson, eases his Chrysler 300B into a qualifying run, climbing the high bank at better than 117 miles an hour. And there goes yesterday's record. One lap complete at 120 miles an hour, and a full run at an average of 119.6 miles an hour, almost 8 miles faster than last year's record. As Baker roars across the finish line, the starter's signal goes to Tim Flock. Last year